The Houston Texans lose 19-27 against the Seahawks Monday Night Football. Let's talk about it. Don't let that box score fool you. As I'm sure you guys already know, this game was not close. This was an ass whooping, particularly for our offense against the Seattle Seahawks defense. This was a game that just confirmed your worst fears about this team. And this is the game that should tell you that this year is not the year for the Houston Texans. They're not a playoff team right now. I doubt they make the playoffs. Not breaking any news there. But don't forget to like and subscribe. This is the Texans Better for more Texans content. Look, there's so many places we can start in breaking down this game and the frustrating aspects of this game. I think we have to start with this god-awful offense. And before we even talk about anything else, let's just talk about who they decided to play on the field after a bye week. Nick Caley in the offense decided to put Lincoln Tomlinson starting at left guard when this whole time his snaps have been diminishing and Juice Scruggs has been taking his place. They decided to put Braxton Berrios in at punt return when we know Jalen Noel is way more dynamic and way more better than that. They decided to put Dare Agumbawale back in the game. Not like he's fumbled a game away or anything. He misses run blocking assignments. And then they decide to put Nick Chubb in a majority of the game in the early downs. And then they finally switch back to Woody Marks. It is just ridiculous how this team cannot fathom not playing the vets. The veteran players on this team, in most instances, are not as good as the rookies. Why is Braxton Berrios getting a majority of the snaps on offense instead of Jalen Noel? Why is Nick Chubb still eating into a lot of Woody Marks' reps? Why is Dare Agumbawale on the field at all? Why is Lincoln Tomlinson playing left guard when Juice Scruggs is better? There are and this is just personnel. We are strictly talking about personnel. This is something that any dope on the street can watch the Texans game and tell you that Jalen Noel is better than Braxton Berrios, that Woody Marks is better than Nick Chubb, that Juice Scruggs is slightly better than Lincoln Tomlinson. Lincoln Tomlinson sucks. Yet this offensive personnel and offensive staff can't put in the right people to play the game. So already right out of the gate, you're not playing your best players on an offense that can't afford that, man. So Nick Caley, for all his quote-unquote genius or whatever, he's not even playing the right guys, dude. And you could see this happening as the game progressed. Woody Marks started getting more touches. Nick Chubb started fading away. As the game progressed, they started to get Jalen Noel. He started making some good catches. As the game progressed, they finally put in Juice Scruggs. Why did this have to happen during the game? We saw week one, you guys started these people. As the weeks go on, you slowly play the rookies more, but out of the bye week, you just revert completely back to playing the same shitty veterans? These players are not good. These are not, amazing players. These aren't people that still have gas in the tank left. I mean, Nick Chubb is my favorite of the players, don't get me wrong, but these other guys have nothing to offer you, man, and Nick Caley just puts them in. It's absolutely freaking ridiculous. And we're just on the personnel. These are just the people who are in the game. We haven't even talked about play calling yet, or time management, or decision making, or literally any aspect of the offense, because it all sucks. You could talk about all of it. It all sucks. And the worst part is you have an elite defense that you're wasting because the offense freaking sucks to high hell, and you cannot do anything about it this season because of the biggest reason, one of them, your offensive line sucks. That's the reality. Your offensive line sucks. And I don't think Nick Caley's doing the offensive line any favors by starting Lincoln Tomlinson. I don't think he's doing them any favors by having tight ends block defensive ends. I don't think he's doing any favors having Ursery out on an island. I don't think he's doing the offensive line any favors with his play calling. He's not doing them any favors throwing in Dare Agumbawale so we can just miss another freaking blocking assignment. It's just broken, and it all sucks, and then it all just mucks on top of each other and just creates this absolute suckage of an offense. That is literally what's happening right now. And they're wasting an elite defense. They're wasting a damn near elite defense that had 4 takeaways to your 1, that scored a touchdown for you, and you're just unable to do anything about it, man. You're unable because this offense freaking sucks, and it starts with the fact that they have no idea what the hell they're doing when they decide to put in players. It is a joke. It is a joke that I have to be the one on my YouTube channel pointing out that they are literally playing the wrong people. It's a fucking joke, dude. It's an absolute joke that they can't fathom that Lincoln Tomlinson might actually be a bad guard. That when you went and bargain shopped for offensive linemen, maybe Lincoln Tomlinson wasn't the answer. No, they can't fathom that. He has to play. It's his old team. He has to play. Shut up, bro. This is just personnel we're talking about, man. Just personnel. Got shit in my mouth talking about this shitty team, dude. We're literally just talking about personnel. But wait, there's more. And actually, before we get to more, Braxton Berrios had 47% of the snaps on offense. Just let that sink in. Braxton freaking Berrios, who's been injured the past 3-4 weeks, whatever, who doesn't play. Absolute joke when you drafted a rookie, 2 rookies in the top 100, and you let Braxton Berrios get in there and get minutes, man. Whatever. The personnel's an issue, but let's move on. Nick Caley's play calling. I have never seen an offensive coordinator get called out to the level that Nick Caley got called out by Dan Orlovsky on that broadcast. Shout out Dan Orlovsky. Shout out Dan Orlovsky. I might not always agree with Dan Orlovsky's takes, but he hit the fucking nail on the head when he was commentating that game, Texans versus Seahawks, man. What is Nick Caley doing? Nick Caley has zero pulse of the offense. He has no idea what he's doing. He was so bad that Dan Orlovsky and the other 2 commentators were literally trying to brainstorm ideas on how to fix this offense. It felt like when you got put in with, the dumb group in school, when you're in school and the teacher divides you up into like 4 groups and you're in the dumb group and all the other groups finish and they're trying to help you out, and it's the most demeaning thing ever because everyone else finished and now the teacher and the rest of the class has to help your group out. That's literally what the broadcast was doing. They were like pitching suggestions like this was a consulting meeting, like the Texans brought them in to help fix this problem. And at this point, the Texans might need Dan Orlovsky in because no one in that building has any idea what the hell they're doing on offense. And there were so many examples throughout this game. I'm going to miss a few, but there were so many examples of inept offense. My 2 favorite examples, the first one being 3rd and 1, run the ball up the middle, get stuffed. 4th and 1, run the ball up the middle, lose yards, and then give up a touchdown after that because you haven't been able to run the ball the whole damn game. Nick Chubb had 16 rushing yards, yet you send Woody Marks up against an offensive line that's not capable of blocking behind Laken Tomlinson, who we've already established is not good. But send Woody Marks in there twice in a row. The most brain-dead shit I have ever seen on a national broadcast, genuinely. Like, it was actually horrific. Nick Caley should be ashamed of himself. All 3 commentators had no idea what to say because everyone knew that you had to pass the ball there because you can't run it twice in a row with a shitty offensive line. Maybe if Drew Scruggs is in, you get it. I don't know. Laken Tomlinson's too trash. We'll never know. But the decision to run that ball twice in that situation is absolutely baffling, man. That was absolutely baffling. And then he's just, of course, unable to get a 2-point conversion. We can talk about that. That had no chance in hell. What's his favorite 2-point conversion play? A bootleg to the right, which basically cuts Stroud's field in half. I've spoken on this channel 3 times already about how I hate this play. It's the only 2-point conversion play the Texans know how to run. Stroud bootlegs out and loses half the field. That doesn't work. No way in hell that works. And then finally, being 2 feet away from the goal line, having like a 1st and goal, Woody Marks gets tackled right in front of the goal line, and you're unable to score. And you had 5 tries to. 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, but Blake Fisher gets a penalty. You still don't get it on the 4th one. Doesn't count, but you didn't get it. And then you don't get it the 5th time either, and you turn the ball over on downs. I mean, you were 2 feet away from the freaking end zone, 2 feet. And you couldn't move the ball 2 feet. Nick Caley has done the tush push before, and he doesn't call it. I mean, are you brain dead? tush push it 3 times in a row if you have to. At least then I can't blame you. Then I can really blame the offensive line. But it's hard for me to blame the offensive line when you're not going to run a tush push to just get it. Horrendous, man. There was a couple of screen calls. One went to Braxton Berrios, which was god-awful. The fact that, like the broadcast was saying, there was no play action, there were no deep shots, there were no heavy hitters. The protection was terrible. You had random flags coming in. Everyone looked lost in terms of protection and run blocking. I genuinely, like, everything is bad. It's hard to point out something that's bad because it's all bad. I can literally just say Nick Caley and all of his actions, and it's all bad. It's all bad offensively. There's nothing redeeming it. And that comes up to my next point, after play calling, after personnel, is there's no redeeming this. The problems go a lot deeper than a couple of personnel issues. Is it still frustrating when they play the wrong people? Yes. But even if they played the perfect people that they have, it doesn't help. The offensive line is not good enough to protect CJ Stroud. The Houston Texans are the only franchise I think I've ever seen that drafted a pocket passer and didn't give him a pocket to pass in. I mean, this is ridiculous. Yes, CJ Stroud, yes, we'd like to see him move a little bit. We like to see him run out of the pocket. But at his core, he is best as a pocket passer on some deep play action hitters. That is his bread and butter. And the Houston Texans refuse to invest in the offensive line. They'd rather pick out bums from off the street. They'd rather not draft high. They'd rather jump out of the second round and draft 4 receivers and then pick up a random bum off the street to play left guard, and CJ Stroud gets killed. I'm not excluding CJ Stroud from the blame, but man, did I feel bad for him when he's getting pressured 48% of the time, when he's getting hit after every freaking ball he throws. Man, I feel bad for him. Not excluding him from the blame, but you went bargain shopping for this offensive line, and now your quarterback's getting smoked back there because of it. Damn near looks like he had concussion on the sideline, getting smoked out there, getting absolutely bullied by the freaking defensive line on the other side. I mean, they didn't lose the line of scrimmage on offense. They got obliterated. This ultimate belt to ass on the offensive line. Just horrific. And you can't fix an offensive line mid-season. You can't do it. You can't change every position you need to. Jake Andrews gives you nothing in run blocking. Langston Tomlinson's bad. Drew Scruggs is barely better. Ed Ingram, I was told, was the best guard in football. Surely not Quentin Nelson. I don't know about that. Ariante Ursary looks lost on the island. Titus Howard's your best lineman, and he's playing okay. You can't fix that. You can't fix that. And it's frustrating because Seattle had one of the worst interior offensive lines last year, and they fixed it. They drafted an offensive lineman in the first round, Gray Zabel. What did you do? You went and took Langston Tomlinson from the Seahawks, knowing they had a terrible offensive interior line, and you put him at your left guard spot. You should be ashamed of yourself, man. Nick Caley should be ashamed of himself. Absolutely horrific, but you can't fix the offensive line. All these cool receivers, Jaden Higgins, who I believe is a really good player, Jalen Knoll, who I believe is a really good player, Nico Collins, who I believe is a really good receiver, none of that matters if your offensive line is bad with a pocket passer. You don't have Deshaun back there. You don't have 2018 Deshaun. You don't have rookie year Deshaun back there. You have a pocket pass. You have Jared Goff, a little more mobile Jared Goff. Could we please invest in a freaking offensive? Like, imagine Jared Goff with no offensive line. That's what CJ Stroud is right now. Moving on, I do want to now talk about CJ Stroud because, like I said, I'm not excluding CJ Stroud from this fiasco that is the Houston Texans offense. There's plenty to talk about with CJ Stroud. First of all, the 18-yard sack to take what should have been a safety on a relatively clean pocket with relatively clean timing is one of the most horrific quarterback plays I've ever seen in my life, that I've ever seen. I don't know why CJ Stroud feels the need to try to be Superman when the pocket collapses instead of just getting rid of the damn ball. He thinks he's more athletic than he is. He thinks he's quicker than he is, and he thinks he can get away from freaky athletic dudes on the edge way better than he can because he can't. CJ Stroud consistently takes 13-yard sacks. The sack he took last night, the first one on the first drive, was an 18-yard sack that should have been a safety. He took an 18-yard sack. That's a fifth of a damn football field. That's insane. It's insane. That's coachable. That is so coachable. Nick Caley, Gerard Johnson, the quarterback coach. Why don't you have a conversation with CJ Stroud and tell him, hey, if you take a over 6-yard sack, we're fucking benching you. Is it that hard to teach? Just get the ball, throw the ball away, dude. Throw the ball away. You're not that athletic. I'm sorry, CJ Stroud. You're not athletic enough. You're not Josh Allen. You can't put on the cape to escape the pocket. And they're setting him up for failure because he wants to be a pocket passer. And yes, I do believe he has good pocket movement. He showcased that. On the play where he threw the ball to Nico Collins and Nico drops it, that was great pocket movement. He had another one of those great pocket movement aspects to get the ball to Jalen Knoll. But you can't run away from edge dudes who run 4.3s, man. You can't do it. And you can't back up 18 freaking yards, almost take a safety, and just give the Seahawks perfect field position. You can't do that to your defense, dude. And he's been doing this consistently. He constantly takes 13-yard sacks, dude. He constantly does it. And they're letting him do it. It's ridiculous, man. Another thing, CJ Stroud was scared, bro. He was scared going into that game. His feet were not set. And this is before he started getting hit. Because I started feeling bad for him once he started taking hits. But obviously the game plan they were trying to do was get the ball out really early. But Stroud was rushing it. Dan Orlovsky picked up on it really early in the game. He was like, yeah, you want to get the ball out quick. You don't want to get it out too quick and mess up your footwork. It was a lot of bunny feet. It was off balance. It was scared. It was back, throw before you hitch. It was just, he was scared. That's why he didn't scramble, because he was scared. You could tell that he was scared of that defense. Again, he's a pocket passer. I feel bad for him, but he was scared. He's not Mahomes. He's not Allen. He walked into that game scared of that defense. That's just what it was. On top of that, he's throwing balls that no one in their mind can catch. His accuracy is plummeting. His accuracy is going through the toilet. He's throwing balls that just, again, they're uncatchable. There was a sequence where they went 3 and out. They didn't gain a single yard. Stroud threw the ball 3 times, dropping back, and they were all uncatchable. And it made me want to put bleach in my eyes to scrub the image of that away. It was absolutely horrific. It's not, you can't survive like this with CJ Stroud. He's not a do-it-all. He's not an elite quarterback. He's just not. You got to give him a pocket. Otherwise, he crumbles, and he looks like what he looks like against the Seahawks. Sam Darnold can stand in the pocket and throw and get laid out. CJ Stroud can't do it. CJ Stroud has to try to put on the cape, run around, and ultimately he just gets sacked for 18 yards. It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. Like, I guess I'll wrap up by saying this. This offense is terrible. You waste another year of elite defense. You waste another year of cheap Will Anderson and cheap CJ Stroud. Your play caller is awful. I really think moving forward, they should fire Nick Caley. I think what they need to do is they need to fire Nick Caley halfway through the season, and they need to let Gerard Johnson or Bill Lazor or someone else call plays so that they can get a feel for what that looks like, and then they can decide on who to hire next season, or maybe continue with the guy if he does well and it is successful. I think that's what you have to do, because Nick Caley is not getting it done. Not at all. He has no idea what the hell he's doing. I didn't even really talk about his play calling this video because I'm getting a fucking headache talking about this shit. But he was terrible. He was terrible. There was not a redeeming play he called. To see the offense go right back to square one like they looked when they played against the Rams is unfortunate, but that's what this team is. Thank God the Rockets play in about 3 hours in their season opener, because it's time to watch some Rockets play, because I can't do this with this team anymore, man. So That's all I got for this video, man. I'm sorry it didn't end on a greater note, but yeah, that's really all I got. So I will see you guys in the next one, man. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Whether I like it or not, like, I'm still gonna cover this team. I'm still gonna react. I'm still gonna post videos, no matter how high my blood pressure gets. But I got to get some water, dude. My throat's fucked, man. I can't believe such an embarrassing loss. But whatever, man. I'll see you guys in the next one, though. Love y'all. Don't forget it. Peace out, man.